join me for Ask the Good Doctor, live today and every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 noon Central Standard Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bring your questions.
On my YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel. And please, if you could, subscribe to my YouTube channel, my YouTube channel. Yes. Ask the Good Doctor, LaJoyce Brookshire. Like, comment, and subscribe. Good afternoon. Happy Wellness Wednesday. I'm Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire. Welcome to Ask the Good Doctor. We are here to help you attain, maintain, and reclaim your perfect health. Thank you so much for being here. I am so glad that you are, because today we are going to have a conversation about the power of a made-up mind. And you know what? Some people think that this is a made-up construct, and I am here to tell you that it is not. We are going to hear from one woman who's going to share with us her amazing testimony. So you all grab your Good Doctor notebooks. You're not going to want to miss it. It's testimony time on Ask the Good Doctor, and she is here with us. She has become my sister, my friend, my publisher. She is Elissa Gabrielle. Hello, Elissa.
Hello, Good Doctor. I'm happy to be here for Wellness Wednesday.
Wellness Wednesday. I'm so glad that you are. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, a lot of people believe that this is a construct of having a made-up mind, but actually there are really many studies that prove that it's a real thing, especially one from Stanford University, and says that the outcome trumps both nature and nurture. But we know that nature has a lot to do with it, because believing that a physical reality about yourself, it says, you can actually nudge the body in a positive direction, and sometimes even more than actually being prone to the reality. So what that means, you all, to diminish some of the scientific talk, is that even though you may seemingly be on a certain trajectory, that your mind plays a very important role on where the body will go, on where you will end up, on your success. And Elissa is here to share with us today about her journey. And it's certainly a successful one. I'm just tickled to have this conversation, because it's been a long time coming. So I'll just let Elissa begin and tell us where she was in her journey. And we'll talk along the way about how she's gotten to where she is today. Elissa, what put you on your wellness journey?
Mm-hmm. You know, my wellness journey started, I want to take you back to Newark, New Jersey in the early 1980s.
Oh, let's go.
Let's start at the beginning. You know about Reaganomics and that whole crack epidemic and how they were flooding so many drugs into our communities.
Yes.
And Newark, New Jersey, Brick City was at the helm of it. You know, you had different parts of the country that was really notorious and known for those epic mass incarcerations, but also the drugs in our community. And so on my block, and even in my household, there was, what we termed crackheads, and how we demonized those men and women that succumbed to those drugs. Yes. And it was a lot of drug dealing and a lot of drug use. So I want to say the power of a made-up mind happened for me back then when I decided I wasn't going to be that. I didn't want to be that woman who was pregnant every 5 minutes by God knows who, and who did whatever kind of drugs were available, and who did whatever they needed to do to get to those drugs. So I think that was the first time that I could pinpoint when my mind would extend past what the circumstances around me told me to do. And I want to take it back to then.
And you know what? That's very interesting, because that had to be during your formative years, yes?
Absolutely.
So
I was 8 years old then?
And see,
85? Mm-hmm.
Yes. So when you see something like that occurring in life, certain things can happen. you can either become what you see, or you can use that as a springboard to do exactly the opposite.
And I took the latter route. I
Yes.
didn't want to break my parents' heart. I didn't want to
Mhm.
be like those women that I saw. And so I said, I can't do this. I can't be a part of this.
Mhm.
And I've always marched to the beat of my own drum. And that was like the first time at like 8 years old that I decided, okay, I'm not going to go that way. That's
Mhm.
just going to lead to trouble and to danger, to an early death or whatever this thing is. I don't want any parts of it. So,
Yes.
mhm.
That's amazing. So what did you do in terms of what happened to you as a result though? Because there was some residue that occurred after that environment,
Oh, sure. Plenty of residue. I have residue to this day, you know.
right?
Our childhoods they're implanted. It's like streets of wet
Yeah.
cement. Whatever you place upon them is going to have a forever impression. And so
Mhm.
I had to get through dark times in my life.
Mhm.
And it was the power of my faith and perseverance that got me through that. Again, I didn't want to stay stuck where I was.
Yeah.
So during those dark times, and I can associate this with wellness and weight, we carry our dark times in different ways. We
Yes.
carry extra burdens in different ways. And I believe part of my weight not only came from giving birth and getting married and having all that fun, you know, in the early stages. I believe part of my weight issue was carrying things that didn't belong to me.
Come on.
And a lot of times we do that and we think that weight is just about, okay, you're not eating right and you're not exercising enough. You're not ashamed of your body enough to get that off and you're lazy. But oftentimes, if you talk to people who carry excess weight, they're carrying the pressures of the world or unforgiveness or
Mm.
resentment or abuse. And I think I probably had to deal with a lot of that in my lifetime. So when we talk about wellness, it's about unpacking all the things that
Yes.
we've learned from wounded people and repacking when we learn better. So the wellness
Mhm.
is a whole process. And it's not
Absolutely.
just what is physical on the outside. It is what is happening internally that defines
Yes.
wellness.
I want to go back to the mouthful that you just stated about
Mhm.
carrying the weight of things that belong to other people. You know, as women, we are nurturers.
Yes.
Women tend to do that, and men also as well. But I think that overwhelmingly women do.
Yes.
And that, and then this, not only do we carry the emotional weight, then a result of that emotional weight comes the physical weight.
There
And
is.
so then, because I mean, all of it gets trapped in our lymphatic system and adipose tissues and in the organs. And then we find ourselves at a place where it's hard to recover.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
Yes,
is.
it is.
You have to deal with at that point when that weight that you're carrying and that burden that is really too much to bear, when it
Mm.
manifests physically, then you have to carry another weight. And that is the weight of what society tells you should look like and what you should be like. And so, in addition to the other pain, the psychological and the emotional, now you're dealing with physical and you're dealing with a whole new set of burdens that come with being physically overweight.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's even more to unravel at that point.
Yes.
Hmm.
The weight unto itself physically is really just the outward expression of what's happening internally.
Yes.
And that weight, when you look in the mirror, if the self esteem is not where it needs to be, that can actually drag you down emotionally. And
Absolutely.
where then you choose where you reside, you have to choose not to reside in the trauma that led you to carry the weight.
Absolutely. And then I'll bring up
Mm.
another point. When it
Go.
comes to weight,
Yes.
sometimes we get so comfortable and settled in and thinking this is just how it is. This is just how I'm
Mm.
designed. This is just who I am. You have to break that cycle. No, there's better for me. I want to look like on the outside, how I feel and my
Yes.
transformation on the inside. So
Yes.
that's a whole nother process there. But you can get comfortable in that, not realizing there's another viable option.
Mm-hmm. What began your transformation?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, it goes back to what I just said, wanting to have my physical uh, mirror parallel what was going on internally.
Okay.
And it wasn't. And so on the inside, I was a happy person. Beautiful husband, beautiful children. Got married really young and was able to get through that. It was a big accomplishment for me.
Sure.
Had a decent job, was very talented. But the weight was there. And it
Tell us
didn't
about,
reflect who I was as a person.
yes. Now tell us about the weight. What do you mean the weight was there?
The weight of unresolved issues from that childhood we talked about a few minutes ago, the weight of having the wrong people and influences in my life and those burdens. We talked about
Okay.
wounded people in my life having too much of an influence. And so when you shed all those things and realize the power of your own voice, and I had to do that, that's when things started to change for me.
Yes. And when you
Mhm.
started to exercise and vocalize,
Yes.
well, I'm going to tell you something. Your thyroid was happy.
Yes.
Because
Absolutely.
one thing that we know, the
Yes.
thyroid becomes injured when you don't speak that truth. When
That's it.
Mhm.
And I had to. And I spoke it to my husband. I spoke it to myself,
Yeah.
my mom and dad. I really got rid of a lot of toxicity in my life. And
Mhm.
so when we talk about toxicity, we mean toxic places, toxic
Yes.
people, toxic thoughts, toxic ideas. And when I started to release all that toxicity, the weight started to come off.
How about it? How
Right.
about it? I
Yeah.
want Chris to put up a photograph of exactly what we're talking about. And the one with
Yes.
the pants, Chris, because you see Elissa sitting here. Not that she wasn't even always beautiful carrying weight, but I
No.
just want to show you transformation.
Yeah.
Would
You
you
know
like
what is
that?
so funny about that picture?
What is
I
it?
think that picture was, yeah, I was 30 pounds heavier in that picture. Those pants are a size 28. And I think I was like a 20 in that picture. I'm a 16 now. So that's 30, 40 pounds ago, even. But
Wow.
yeah, I mean, to visually see that, it's amazing. I remember those pants.
That
I still
is,
have them.
and never throw them away.
I will never get rid of them.
That is a reminder from whence you have come. When
Overcome.
you, that's right.
Yes.
What was the walk that you took from that to even the photograph in the picture?
I put myself on the list, Dr. LaJoyce. I put myself on the list. I had dedicated my life to my husband, my children, and my parents, the
Mhm.
beginning, the middle, and the end of me. But I didn't have myself on that list.
Mm.
So it was about studying what would work for my body. It was about walking 2 and 3 miles a day. It was about putting better foods and proper nutrition and just making myself a part of my own very to-do list. And I had to
Mhm.
do that. I had to get on the stove, is what I tell people. You know, we talk about putting ourselves on the back burner as Black
Mm.
women,
Mm.
and I wasn't even on the stove. And everybody
Wow.
else was. And I had to take care of everyone else, and everybody was living a really good life. And it was what I'm supposed to do. But I had to get myself on that list. And once I did that, it really changed things for me.
Mm. That's interesting that you said it's what you were supposed to do. That's interesting.
Hmm.
Say more.
Well, I'm supposed to be a good wife.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be a good mother. I'm supposed to be a good daughter. And I did all those things really well.
Mhm.
But I had to love myself more radically
Ah.
And that's what I did. The same way that I love my parents and my husband and my children, on purpose and in purpose, I had to do that for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did that, and the weight came off. I had to shut out the noise,
Oh,
other people's opinions, and this is what you should do with your life and how you should do is a lot of noise. So I
yeah.
had to shut out a lot of noise and follow what I believe God had, the path that God had put me on to
Mm-hmm.
get to where I am now.
Okay.
That takes a lot of courage to shut it all down.
It does. Here's what I want to know. When you are in your family and friend circle, they are accustomed to you being a certain way and looking a
Right.
certain way. Speak to what happened in your circles, family and friends, when you
Right.
started to let go of the weight emotionally and physically.
Well, Dr. LaJoyce, I've always been what my mother would call classy. And so I always, even at 350 pounds, always kept myself together. So they were used to me, as far as physical appearance, looking nice.
Okay.
Um, in the circle that I was in, people were just used to me being heavy.
Okay.
And so when I started to slim down, they would make comments. But let me tell you something of how I dealt with that.
Okay.
I had to deal with my husband's family.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, um, it just wasn't always a pleasant experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided, even before I started dropping the weight, let me disconnect myself from these people because
Ah.
they're not good for my mental health. So that's what I mean about releasing toxicity.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever they would see me when I would come around, which was all the time to very seldom, they would be shocked, like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. But I had to remind them I've always been beautiful. You
Come on.
just starting to notice it because it's on a level that you approve of at this point.
Ah, come on now.
But I didn't let them have it both ways.
All right.
So you're not going to criticize and condemn the caterpillar and
Mm.
then celebrate the butterfly. You're
Yes.
not going to have it both ways.
Wait,
And so I
pause.
made that very clear, and maybe not by words, but by actions.
Mm.
I have to deal with you because I love my husband, but I don't have to deal with you because I love
Yes.
myself.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's about shutting out the noise.
Wait, I need to pause on you're not going to condemn the caterpillar and celebrate the butterfly.
Absolutely.
No.
No,
Because the two are one.
they are one. And that's what they didn't get. And not just them, it was other people. But let me tell you something. It wasn't everyone. People who love me at that high weight still love and adore and cherish me right now.
Sure.
So I'm nitpicking a few to make the
Mhm.
overall point for
Got
whoever's
it.
listening.
Mhm.
You have to shut out the noise for
Mhm.
your own mental well-being.
Yes.
Yeah.
The question I ask many people is, what is the noise in your life that you need to turn down? And
There it is.
do you have the strength to do so?
Mm-hmm.
Are you courageous enough to shut out that noise? Are you courageous enough to silence the naysayers? Where is your courage when it comes to you doing what I call snip, snip in your life and cutting the umbilical cords of relationships that you know mean you no good?
That's it.
Where are you on that? And as a naturopath, I have come to understand that they are inextricably connected,
Absolutely.
that you must analyze it all for a person to completely be whole and well. And
Absolutely.
this requires talk time and examination. We should not, on any level, think that these things don't matter because they do. So, Elissa, you say that your journey started with eating better, putting better food on the table. The strength it even takes to do that. What did you learn and where did you learn it about the better food to put on the table?
Well, let me take you to one of the most horrific times in my life is when my mom, as you know her very well, was sick with cancer. And I, in the midst of that, I would put little things in my pocket as I was going
Mhm.
along the journey. I couldn't ask questions the way I wanted to because it was so fast paced dealing with that cancer.
Mhm.
Every day was something new.
Yeah.
But things that were red flags to me, I put in my pocket to analyze later.
Okay.
And so when we got her through her cancer journey, and she's gone on to heaven now, and I um, really believe that she is resting because of the last few
Yes.
years of her life were just so devastating. I learned that our medical system is not focused on wellness.
Mhm.
And in order for me to be well, and I thought about how could I have prevented this from happening to my mom? How do I prevent this from happening to me? She is my mother.
That's right.
Those doctors didn't even hold hands on her care.
Mm.
I said, there has to be another way. There has to be an alternative way to deal with this.
Mhm.
And so Google is our best friend. And I started to Google natural ways to prevent and fight cancer and to lose weight and to grow your hair back when I lost my hair. And that's what introduced me to a more natural and holistic lifestyle was almost 10 years ago when I was going through that battle with my mom and seeking other ways to deal with health and wellness
Mhm.
because what she had gone through was just medication after medication after medication covering up or dealing with symptoms. And it was really I call the places that she was in and those ambulance trips and those nursing homes and everything we were dealing with like a vortex for death. It just got her to her death
Wow.
so much quicker.
Wow.
And if I love my husband and if I love my father who was living at the time and I love my children, then I'm going to have to do something now so that
Mhm.
they don't have to witness and endure what I had to go through with my own mother. I wouldn't
Mhm.
wish that on anybody.
I want to take a pause right here to pay homage to your mother.
Yes.
And I'm going to make every effort not to cry right now.
Mhm.
Elissa's mom is Mike Bernardo. Mark
Amen.
Bernardo was a maven in the record industry.
Mhm.
She was the grande dame of the promotions of all the labels, and she was last at Warner Brothers Records. Mike was about 6 feet tall, flamboyant, beautifully dressed all of the time, slinging a fur coat, jewels, hair, makeup, everything to the nines. And she would just walk in the room and you go, there's Mike Bernardo. Yeah, you couldn't help but notice her. She was revered. So when I first came to New York, and I was an entertainment reporter for the Sheridan Broadcasting Networks, and I would call the record departments to get interviews or go to a show. The women who were publicity directors gave me a hard time at first. They gave me a really hard time. I used to call them
Mhm.
the funky divas. That's how much they used to
Yes.
give me a hard time. Okay, so the I used to go to brunch on a Sunday morning after I did a radio show in the morning on WADO with Bishop Sam Williams. Shout out to the New Gospel Experience. And then I would go home and take a nap. And I get up and I go to this brunch. It was all you can eat for $20 in the 80s. And it was at the brownstone of Ken Reynolds, who went to high school with me, and he God rest his soul. But Ken was also a publicist in the industry. So I had my little table and I would kiki with Ken and just have a good time and walk home because it was walking distance. This particular Sunday, I get there and the funky divas are there. And
Mm.
all of them, they're at a long table. And I'm like, ugh, what are they doing here? Like, this is my brunch. Like, why are they here? And Mike was there. So I go to my table. I just say hello and I go to my table. Ken sets me up. And Mike goes, LaJoyce, what are you doing sitting over there by yourself? Come over here. Y'all move over. And she made everybody move over and let me sit next to her. And
Mhm.
she grilled me. Who are you? What are you going to be when you grow up? Who your mama and them? Where you from? What are your goals in life? Where'd you
Mhm.
go to school? And
Right.
after I told her all of this, she said, "We like LaJoyce, don't we?"
Yes.
And she looked at them, I'm gonna cry. She looked at the rest of those women
Mm-hmm.
and she said, "Don't we?"
Yes.
And I did not have a moment's trouble
Yes.
out of those women ever again. Your mama did
Mhm.
that for me.
Yes. She did that for so many of us.
Okay?
She
Because,
was our saving grace.
yes. So when I discovered that Elissa
Mhm.
was Mike's daughter, we had spoken together at a weekend retreat. And when we came back, Elissa said, "I just read your bio." She sent me a text, an email. "I didn't know you worked in the record business. My mother was Mike Bernardo." I fell into this fit of tears that I'm in right now
Yes.
and boo-hooed on the phone with her. But we're going to take
Yes.
a break and I'm going to get myself together. When we come back, Elissa's going to tell us about this wellness journey that she's on and what she's done personally to affect change. Don't go away. We'll be back with more Ask the Good Doctor after this.
All right.
Hello, Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire here today to tell you about something amazing, and it is all for the benefit of your perfect health. I would like to introduce you to Vitastan. It is a natural botanical spray that kills up to 178 pathogens dead, including COVID 19. Yes, it does. All you have to do is spray it in the air, spray it in your mouth, put it on your finger, put it in your nose, pinch your nose together, and voila. Because the entry point, of course, of COVID is through the mouth, through the nose, through the eyes, or even through the ears. You can spray this spray onto the surfaces of anything. You can also spray them on your hands. You can even safely spray it on your face. So get yourself some Virustan from the Igalen Company, igalen.net/Dr. Brookshire. The other product I'd like to introduce you to is Genesee. Genesee is from Lake Klamath in Oregon, and it is the world's #1 source of blue-green algae, and that is so healing and soothing for the body. This Genesee, just one little pouch of this daily, helps to repair and rebuild your stem cells. Because if the stem cells are damaged, then your health is in need of repair. So one pouch of Genesee per day. The last thing is called UnCarb. UnCarb is just a little capsule with oh so many goodies in it that help the body to not absorb up to 50% of sugar. It is amazing. It is helping people who are insulin dependent to come off of insulin. It is helping the diabetic to reduce their diabetic numbers because the one thing that we have discovered after the pandemic is that the second pandemic is diabetes. So you can uncarb your body with this product from igalen.net. Grab some, one of them or three of them today. Bye.
Grab yourself that uncarb and it does the body good. Elissa, if you can move over just a little bit, you're not centered. And I want to make sure that we see all of you. There you go. The other way. Perfect. Up,
Uh-oh.
back. You went too far. Go back just a little bit. All right. There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
All righty then. We were, after I had my little moment here,
Yes.
talk about Mama Mike, but Mama Mike was one of the amazing women behind the mic. And she is actually going to be featured in our project called Women Behind the Mic,
Yes.
Curators of Pop Culture, because she indeed was one of those women. And as we are first day of Black Music Month here, well, the second day of Black Music Month, we absolutely want to pay homage to Mike Bernardo. So thank you, Elissa, for helping to keep her legacy alive.
Yes.
And I'm
Thank
glad
you.
that we'll be able to tell her story. I want the audience to know about what a prolific writer you are. You said that you were talented, but just a little more than talented. This woman is a gifted writer.
Thank you. You know, I've been writing since the age of 8. And so I'll tell you how that happened. We lived in Newark, New Jersey, and my mother owned a 3-family home. And we stayed on the second floor of that home. Way in the back of the apartment was the bedroom that I shared with whoever was in the bedroom at the time, my sisters, my niece, my nephews, my dad, my mom. And in the front of that apartment was, you know how sometimes you have a little room in a house, but you don't know quite what to do with it. It's not big enough for a bedroom, but it's not
Yes.
small enough for like a closet. And so he had his piano in that room. And so we
Ah,
called it the piano room. Now, let me just back up a minute. My father was Joe Thomas, jazz maestro, recorded 9 albums in his career, toured the country and overseas as a saxophonist. And
nice.
so he was at the piano that day and he was playing this tune and it woke me up out of my sleep. And I walked from my bedroom all the way to the front to that piano room. And I said, Dad, what are you playing? What is this? It's an early Saturday morning. He said, This is my new song, Peace in the Storm. I
Ah.
said, Oh my God, the melody, even at that young age, the melody just captured my soul. It really did. And then
Mm.
he read the words to me. And he wasn't a singer, but then he would sing some of the words to me. And I tell you, LaJoyce, that was the first time that I really understood when God enters your life in such a profound way.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And I felt God all through that music and those words.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first time that I realized the power of words and sound.
Yes.
That started my writing career. To hear him with those words and that melody. I started to write after that. I started with poetry. I wrote my first screenplay at the age of 19, Divided Souls.
Ah.
And what started the publishing journey along with the writing journey was rejection.
Huh.
So I had one book, maybe two books that I was shopping at the time to all types of publishers. I was looking online and seeing who the publishers were,
Mm-hmm.
some of my favorite authors and who are their publishers. I got so many rejection
Oh,
letters.
yes.
And you know me, I'm not one, if you say no, I'm going to find a way to say yes. And so that's how I started Peace in the Storm Publishing. I published my own work. And as the Lord would have it, I became an envoy by which other people's dreams came true.
That's
So,
true.
yes, I'm a great writer. Thank God for the written word. Here is my
Yes.
book. Here, one of my favorites is Eye of the
Move it
Beholder.
over some. We can't say, there you go.
Yes, Eye of the Beholder. Let me tell you what's so fascinating about this book. And we just had a discussion about it last night on Clubhouse. For an independent Black author, this book is a recommended romance by USA Today. That does not happen very often.
That's right.
And it has three main characters, Jay, Jill, and Jazz. And Jazz is an homage to my dad in this book. So
Oh,
this is like one of my favorites until the next favorite comes out.
oh,
And it's a fan favorite as well. It's a
oh,
beautifully written romance. So yeah, I have been a Black Expressions best-selling author, Amazon. I've published over 150 books in my 15-year career.
beautiful.
Happy to have Renewing Your Mind Inc.
Whoop, whoop. That's me,
As
y'all.
one of the imprints, which
That's
is
me.
Dr. LaJoyce's imprint.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to really great things entering television and film as with some of my screenplays and teleplays. And so I thank God for that gift. It's one of many that He's given me, and I'm
One of
just very
many.
grateful.
One of many.
One of
That's
many.
that's right. I am delighted to know that the wellness journey that you set up on for yourself and for
Mhm.
your own healing, because it was necessary and because you watched what happened to Mama Mike,
Yes,
that you were determined that it wouldn't happen to you or anybody else in the family, not on your watch.
not on my watch.
Not on your watch. And then you took it a step further and embarked on formal education. Tell us about it.
Yes. Well, let me go back to Mama Mike. I have been telling her, and this is how God works so magnificently. I
Mhm.
have been telling her, Mom, I'm going to finish out my education. I hadn't done it prior to. And I said, I'm going to be Dr. Elissa. This was 3 days before she died.
Wow.
And I wanted her to go, and I knew she was dying. I wanted her to leave this earth with me planting some really glorious seeds into her. I wanted her to hear something wonderful that one of her children were doing. And
Yes.
so I told her that. And then I went back to school. And because I just like to do things really big, I attended two colleges. So one for psychology and then one for naturopathy. And I did get some life coaching certifications along the way. But it's
Awesome.
been a multi-school, multi-year journey over the last several years. All the work is done, and I'm being conferred now as Dr. Elissa. And yeah, praise God.
I am so
Yes,
happy.
yes,
I am
I'm
so
happy.
happy. We need more naturopaths in this world.
Yes, we do.
We need you. We are going to be working together in tandem
Yes,
with the education that you have learned, because it is a full and well-rounded education. I can say
yes.
that. I know that. I've experienced it. Elissa's Spirit experienced it.
Hmm.
Now that you embark upon the journey, what aspect of naturopathy are you focused on? I am focused on nutrition and well-being. And what is the area that you have chosen to focus on?
It's still developing, but what I will tell you where my heart is and what I've been doing the work towards that right now would be uh, total life transformations.
Yay.
Because it's a spirit, soul, body, mind, body, spirit thing.
That's
You
right.
can't have one without the other. And they all have to be in tandem and on one accord.
That's right.
And so I believe that one of my specialties will be to help people transform their thinking, to transform their life.
Mm-hmm.
I
Excellent.
do enjoy being a level 2 Reiki.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to being a Reiki master because we're so blocked in our energy
Yes.
and in our chakras. I had one client who came to me with stage 3 kidney disease.
Mm-hmm.
And I put her on a plan and a protocol. The first 30 days, she lost 26 pounds. At that
Wow.
first visit, we did Reiki, we did reflexology, we had a whole life coaching session.
Nice.
And when she left the office, she had wings. Do
Yes.
you know her kidneys are functioning properly now?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Absolutely.
everything has to be on one accord.
It has to be in alignment. And I
Yes,
will add a fourth to the triangle to make
yes,
it a quadrangle. Electrical. We are
yes,
mind, body, spirit, and electric.
yes, yes, we are.
And we must pay attention to our electrical cells and
Yeah,
protect our electrical cells. Like these earrings, they're not just cute, but this is magnitude jewelry with the interchangeable magnet
right, right.
to help deflect, because if ever I'm in front of so many screens simultaneously, I'm protecting my brain, y'all.
Yes,
Okay. So my wrist, I usually have one here, but I felt these were big enough. So
right.
here we are. And so I'm protected with
Hmm.
what's coming at me so that I can deflect the negative
Right.
effects.
Yeah,
But we must protect that.
yeah.
And so tell me more about what you're looking for. Tell us about this. Give us that flyer, Chris. Oh, where are we? There we go. Give us that flyer, Chris, with the product, with the white flyer. There we are.
Ah,
There she is. Tell us about the
hey,
products,
girl,
Elissa.
hey. So we're gonna go back to mom again. And like I mentioned earlier, when she was going through that cancer battle, I uh I lost my hair, just to put a long story short. All of this hair you see in the top here and in the sides, all of that was gone.
Mm,
I was wearing scarves every day because I had the husband, the children, I had work, I had writing, publishing, I had mom. I couldn't do my hair.
mm.
And we had been in the back of an ambulance because she was going through a chemo crash. And we went to the emergency room and I had to go to the restroom and the silk scarf started to slip off. and I saw all of my hair was gone.
Wow.
And it was the stress. I went to 5 doctors, a total of 5 doctors. And they told me that my hair would never grow back. And they told me so many different diagnoses, probably 5 out of the 5 different diagnoses.
Yes, of course.
And so when I was looking up ways to grow my hair back, I discovered ways. Now, I never intended
Yes.
to sell these products. It was just something I felt obligated to do because I didn't want to keep the information to myself.
Okay, so let's talk about the products. This first
Okay.
one here. Tell us about it.
Oh, so this has some immune support in it with the hair, skin, and nail vitamins. It has everything in here that is going to strengthen and grow your hair back because it did it for me and my hair. As you can see, it's there now. This is the Revival hair
Wait a minute. Let me
serum.
just go back to this hair, skin, and nails immune
Okay.
support. Boop. Pin the link for the jewelry and the link for Elissa Gabrielle products. ElissaGabrielleNaturals.com. Yes?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Here is what I love about this product. First of all, this capsule, I love the way it smells. You know how you open some vitamins and they stink?
Yeah.
I don't mind it, but I love the way this one smells. It smells really nourishing. And this is what I like about it also. It's not a capsule. It's a caplet.
Yes, it is.
It is a caplet. You can drop this in water and it will dissolve. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I haven't had mine today. And
I love that.
There it is.
Yes.
So I took that way. Okay. So it got stuck there. Wait, hold on.
Right.
Okay. Now, so that's the caplet. It dissolves really easily. And it's really good for you to have some really nourishing things in there for your hair. Now, if you have ever experienced trauma about hair, go back to last week's show. If you have ever experienced hair trauma and you're not at the point where you want to get rid of your hair and you endured something traumatic with your hair, let me say something. It is really traumatic. When your hair falls out, and that's not the intent. So I just want to do everything in addition to the hair tonic to make sure that my hair stay on point. Okay. So this is a helper. And this wonderful little baby right here. Tell us, Elissa, tell us.
Oh, this is what I started with.
What is it?
So this is the serum.
And what's it called?
And like I
Revival.
said, it's Revival Hair and Scalp Serum. And let me tell you why I decided to bottle this. When I was having conversations about my hair with my small circle of people, I realized that they were having issues too.
Yes.
And I started to mix these oils and discover a beautiful combination of what worked for me. But you know what else? Part of this was I was hearing and seeing the memes online and listening to all the jokes about how we were really killing Black women about their edges and about their hair falling out. And I said, wow, we're the most disrespected people on the planet. Let me do something to provide some solutions, because every woman that's dealing with hair loss is not a direct result of something that she was doing that may have been careless with her hair. And even so, let's extend some grace to all of us.
Yes. I love how rich it is. And when I'm telling you a little dab will do you, I'm doing 2 drops there. And I have these flyaways that I'm happening here. And it is so smoothing and nourishing, and voila. And the shine it puts on it. The shine that it puts on it. And
you want to take this
the shine.
A little drop wherever you're having your troubled areas.
For me, it was right there.
You want to massage that.
Wait. I'm reporting. It was.
Yes, it was.
Hello, somebody. And that's for me wearing all them do-rags. Now, I'm the do-rag queen, okay? I am Pocahontas from the Poconos with my 2 braids. All right. Here, this is my favorite. Tell them about it, Elissa.
Oh, isn't it so luscious?
It is sumptuous. It is luxurious. I wish it was a face cream. So I'm sure that's coming one day.
Well, now this took a while to create, but I wanted to have like a butter for my hair. So I started to
Yes.
get in the mixer in the kitchen and mix up things that I knew would work very well. And I came up with this the follicle stimulating cream.
Well, let me
So
tell you
let me
how
tell
go ahead,
you
tell me.
what the process was like for me to grow my hair in. It was spritzing my hair with some type of liquid like water and aloe
Mm,
and give it moisture. I treated my scalp like it was a plant,
that's
and I
because
was
it
trying to get that
is.
grow with
Yes.
water, with aloe, with nutrition, just like I would a plant.
Yes.
And then I take the serum and just massage that in. Even maybe the inversion method, and just put my head down and I
That's right.
massage it, just massage it in. And then I'd seal it with the cream. So take a
Ah,
little cream, seal all of that in, and I did that for years. And I still do it. I still have two trouble areas here, but let me tell you
yes.
something. This was gone. This was George
Wow.
Jefferson. It
Wow.
was gone. And it took years to come back.
Here's
And
what
I
you do.
couldn't keep that to myself.
That's right. You could not. I want you to take a picture of your hair and send these products to all 5 doctors and tell them you lied. You
Oh,
didn't.
yes.
We not you lied, but I proved you wrong. I proved you
Yeah.
wrong. And I will tell you what else I like about this luscious, luxurious cream. Because when I tell
Yeah.
you this stuff is thick and good, but yet it's creamy, it doesn't gook. What I did was I took my 2 braids, I take my 2 things right here, all
Right.
right, and I twist them. And I'll even show you. I twist it like this, and I take this serum and I put it right on here like that, and I roll
Nice.
it and I pin curl. And this is what I did
Nice.
to get
Right.
exactly what you see I have right here. I pin curl that with the serum because for me, it operates as like a almost like a quick set.
Nice. Okay. I
It
haven't
operates
seen
like,
that done
yeah,
yet. I love it.
it's a quick set for me.
Mhm.
So that's how I use it as well. And it locks in the moisture.
Right.
That's what I love about it. So you're saying you created it just for moisture.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Because we're told growing up, don't get your hair wet. You know that? But we need the water in our hair. And so I tell people who inquire, and I tell people who use this, you have to get your hair wet.
You
You
just
have
fell
to
halfway
have.
off the screen when you moved yourself. Move
Yeah,
yourself.
I know. I don't know why this is
There you go.
happening.
That's better. That's perfect. Now, nope. Yeah, there you go. So,
There we
so
go.
we
Okay.
so when you are talking about um that when we're talking about don't get our hair wet, this goes back to that conversation that we had last week. But additionally, I thank you for these nourishing products. We're grateful for them because we want everything to keep. When you want to keep your hair, we want you to keep your hair. Okay.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
it all starts with the inside too. So that's why I'm glad we have this for hair, skin, and nails.
Hmm.
It is perfect for that as well.
Yes.
And as Dr. Elissa, throw up that doctor photo, Chris. I'm just so glad. I will announce right here that Dr. Elissa, there she is. Oop, oop.
We're almost there.
Yes, in just a few days, she will be conferred, and she will
Mhm.
be working alongside of me also at the Wellspring Holistic Center and everywhere else that we doctor. So I am excited with Dr. Elissa joining us, joining our staff, joining our team. Welcome aboard, sister.
Thank you. Thank
And
you. Thank you.
finally, the one of the transfers, Elise Roper says she doesn't see the vitamins on the website. Uh-oh. What's it
They're
under?
there.
What did they have
Yeah,
to
they're there.
click to see the
Yeah.
vitamins on the website, Dr. Elissa?
They should be on the homepage and also on the Etsy page. They're there.
Okay, homepage.
Yes.
Look on the homepage. Thank you, Chris, for that photo. One of the things that you have transformed into as well
Mhm.
is modeling.
Right.
Did you ever think, show us that modeling photo in the red, Chris. Did you ever think, look at that girl there. I
Oh my
mean, to
God.
tell you, Glamour Puss. Whoa.
No.
I mean, the camera just loves that face.
Well, praise God.
And tell us about the opportunities that you have had modeling, and how did it fall into
Oh
your lap? Does it
man.
fell into your lap?
And this goes back to when we were discussing earlier about the caterpillar and the butterfly. So let me
Yeah.
take you there. First, I'll start here. All of my life, I have been told you should go into modeling, even at my highest and anywhere in between.
Mm.
I didn't believe it.
Mm.
We have to believe it in order for it to happen.
Yes.
Thoughts become things, and I was not, I didn't want to be known as the pretty girl because I had
Mm.
been so bullied and terrorized by the
Oh.
pretty girls. So I
Oh.
didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be the pretty girl. And so in my 40s, this opportunity came up, and I'll tell you one person that was very influential in this was Michelle Joyce. And do
Ah.
you remember we were at the oh, I forget the name of the place in New York where we were, the YouTube studios.
Okay.
And we had lunch, and Michelle said, Elissa, you are stunning. Why aren't you modeling? I heard this before over the last 20 years. I said, oh, Michelle, that's not for me. I'm way too old and way too fat for that now. And so I just laughed it off, but she was dead serious.
She was dead serious.
And you know how Michelle, she can make a point. And she showed me some things on Instagram and said, I want you to try this. And so very quietly, I had some pictures from headshots from being an author, and I made a little Instagram page and a Facebook page. I didn't tell anybody about it.
Okay.
I just put a couple pictures out with some hashtags separate from the hashtags for the writing. And I got some inquiries in my inbox. And then I got some big inquiries. And so I signed on to do the thing with Capitola and then divest them. And then I slowed down for a minute and
Now,
said, okay,
Capitola and Divestum, what is that?
those are the watch companies that I represent.
Okay.
Yeah. And a few months ago, I got the inquiry from Koala Models Agency in Milan and said, and the girl said, hey, what's up? In the email. And I said, okay, this is a scam until I started researching it because I didn't believe it. And so that's where that picture comes from. It's on the Koala Models website.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward. I have some things to consider for brand ambassador work.
Yes.
I'm looking for something really big to happen, but that is enough because that's the butterfly and that's the big well, I'm not going to prove anybody wrong or right from when I had to deal with that and silence the noise. I proved myself right.
There you are.
And so that's the message for anybody who's watching today. Your goal is really not to prove anybody wrong or right. You have to do it for yourself. So this is enough. If it's just those two brand ambassador things, and I represent Taj Cosmetics and Koala, if nothing else happens, I proved myself right and I made that happen. It's like everything that was thrown at me that was designed to really destroy me, I've used it as my superpower.
Yes.
So it's from my head of hair to my looks or whatever else in the book. Or if it's the serum, or if it's the modeling photos, or if it's representing a watch company, whatever it is, I've used it for my good now.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Well, shout out to Michelle Joyce for the encouragement.
Yes.
There's nothing like the voice of a good girlfriend in the back of that head. And
Yes.
Michelle Joyce is my business partner with the Women Behind the Mic venture. We are co-creators of the Women Behind the Mic movement, and you will see a book from that voluminous series coming your way this fall.
Yes.
Well, Elissa, I just want to thank you for your courage.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for testimony, and for a testimony that's worth sharing and worth hearing over and over and over again. You make me smile. I'm so proud of you. Mama Mike is looking down at our union going, yes. And so we are just glad that you are who you are and what you have become. And thank you for sharing with us today. I will
Thank you.
sound this off with saying, Dr. Elissa Gabrielle. We will see you next
Yes.
time, Dr. Elissa.
Dr.
Thank you for
Elissa,
being
thank
here.
you.
God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you.
And that does it for me. I'd like to thank my team. Christopher Green, technical producer, IW supervising producer, announcer DJ Indy, our newest member, Geneva, who is administrator, and our moderator, Black Tea. Remember to let your eyes shine, cut back on the wine, get good food fast, and go easy on the greasy. Until next time, I'm Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, here to help you attain and maintain your perfect health. Let's do it again next week, okay? God bless you.